Deathstroke number 17, Christopher Priest writing and Joe Bennett on art. I did not read this. I'm starting to catch up. I'll be there at some point. But you two have read it. Discuss.
So I get that he's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
But the dude crossed the line.
Yep.
And I'm not even talking about, sleeping with his son's fiance.
No, that's fine.
Putting a hit out on his other daughter. Dude killed Roscoe, the dog.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that.
Oh dear.
No.
It made it hard. Like, I'm not kidding. It made it hard to finish the rest. I had to thumb through to see if the dog wasn't showing back up.
Because at first it was like, is the dog dead? Because it's a little bit unclear. Yeah. You just see the dog in pain, and I was like, oh, no, the dog's dead.
Yep. And this whole arc's about him. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he somewhere in between? And the Wintergreen AI that he's programmed to sound like Wintergreen is explaining all of these actions out. And I like that a lot about why he does the things he does. It's because he's so broken.
Yeah, so I guess we should talk about the reason he kills the dog and what causes all this. Basically, Beast Boy shows up at the apartment to talk to Power Girl, like say, oh, there's a new team together, and we could maybe introduce you if you wanted in, because it's not really his say.
We have a new. I like how he tries to describe Damien. We have a new leader. He's kind of much, but he's fine.
Yeah, and obviously he recognizes Slade, and he's like, you know that's Deathstroke, right?
That's a bad guy.
And she's like, who?
Yeah.
But and then she goes and confronts him, and he has to kind of push her away then, because it's either he has to do that or he has to kill her, something to make sure that it breaks the change.
He has to make her hate him. Yeah. And this is what he does with every relationship, whether it's his ex-wife or son or Rose, even Billy Wintergreen and his team that we've seen pop up.
Yeah.
He is just, we talked about this in the Rebirth issue about his older son.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're a terrible father, and it gets into psychology, but it's a real fun sequence because what's her actual name? I know it's Power Girl, but
Tanya.
Yeah, Tanya. She has this like entire city block that's like her headquarters. That it's a compound for her, and it reacts to like her size changing.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Yeah, and he's the Wintergreen AI is very impressed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's just from the outside, it's just a row of houses, but inside it's all just this one complex that's really cool.
Yeah. And so she uses her growing powers, and she's fighting Slade, and he's kind of holding back because he doesn't really want to hurt her.
And she's visibly upset that she thought she knew who he was, and it's not that.
Yep. And we also got a good moment at the beginning too, where Wintergreen has that gun from Deadline, which that was that assassin's name that we couldn't remember.
Yeah.
And Deathstroke wants to keep it because it can take out Superman. But Wintergreen's being like the voice of reason, going, well, it's an alien weapon. We really shouldn't use it for anything, as he's looking through it, which I thought was a fun little, back and forth.
Yeah, so. And there's a lot of stuff I really like in this issue. Like all throughout Deathstroke, he's pushing away Tanya, going, no, I can't have her. But at the same time, he's like, she's good at this. I could use her. She could become a part of my team, which obviously we kind of know where that's heading now.
Yeah.
But it's interesting the way he's not just looking at her from her power set. He's looking at like, no, this is how he can utilize her as her tactical side.
Yep.
But he did cross the line, did kill the dog. So
he did, and that dog, he was a retired police dog. Like, it's probably the worst thing he's done in this arc, and he's done some bad stuff.
It is, and we were so excited about him having this dog, in the last couple of issues when he went out with it, and it's like, so cool. But no, not to be.
So, and then towards the end, we get that Jericho. It's revealed that he was in a relationship with Dr. Isherwood.
Yeah.
When he gets a happy, what was it, birthday text?
Yeah, happy 21st.
Yeah, and Etienne finds this, and none too thrilled. And then she reveals to him that she's been, messing around on him with his dad right before the wedding, which is still apparently going on. Because Deathstroke's like, well, I gotta get to my son's wedding at the end, and there's a foreshadowing of it looks like Etienne's bleeding out.
It certainly looks like that. She looks like she's in a wedding dress, doesn't she?
Yep, and it says, a Wilson family wedding. Like, there's a stamp on there.
That sounds a bit accurate.
Yeah, so it looks, knowing what we know with this team that's coming, and how the Lazarus contract is on the horizon, it looks like that's now setting up this where maybe he doesn't need to push people away and just be the ultimate a-hole. Like, he can actually work with people, and that's what needs to balance him. So, what do you have to look forward to, Pete?
Yeah, I think we've got one more issue of this before we get into the crossover, which is obviously going to be this wedding issue, which I'm looking forward to. I think that could be a lot of fun.
It's going to be like an inverse Red wedding that doesn't just rip your guts out.
Yeah.
It's going to be like...
everyone kind of deserves it.
Yeah. There's going to be a savage artistry to it, I think.
Yeah.
Or they'll swerve you and it'll just be like Jim and Pam's wedding from The Office and it'll just be delightful.
Well, if that's the case, the bride ends up dead somehow. So, but we also know she's involved with Hive. So, and Hive has popped up in Titans. So
yeah,
that could be how that starts the links together.
Yeah.
But it was a good issue. But man, they really want us to dislike Slade because obviously we know where this is going with his personality shift. And this is like one last ditch effort to make us hate him.
Yeah.
It's just before we go into that, it's like look how much you hate this guy before he has to go through this redemption.
I feel like he'll probably be the villain in the crossover. Like he'll be the antagonist until the conclusion, and we come out on the other side.
Also, just because you said that, I love that they're still playing up that joke with Dr. Wilhelm because obviously it's spelled villain, and every time
it's French.
It's every single time someone says it, he's like, it's Wilhelm. It's like, it's cracking me up.